Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew chapter 5, verse 23. If you bring your gift to the altar, and you remember your brother has an issue with you, leave your gift by the altar. Go your way. First be reconciled with your brother, then come and offer your gift. Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't if you have issue with someone, but if they have issue with you. No sacrifice in life can be pure unless it comes from a pure heart. If you have a disagreement with someone, that's okay. But if you have something where a person feels you've done them wrong, it's good to clear that issue up as soon as possible. Let me say it again. If someone thinks you've done them wrong and you catch wind of it, and you realize this person feels that I have wronged them, go and smoothen out that issue with that person. And then you can give service. Then your intentions are pure. Again, this is not about whether you did the person wrong or not. It's whether that person's peace is violated because they feel you've done them wrong. Words to live by. We're talking Wonder Woman. So here's Wonder Woman's Twitter. And the question that is relayed to us is, what do you think makes Diana a hero? You know what? I don't care about that part. This is what I care about. I want you to be able to answer to me from the Wonder Woman movie, what makes a person a hero? Because the Wonder Woman movie was about that. Wonder Woman's mother, played by Connie Nielsen, Hippolyta, said, as you can see right here, fighting does not make you a hero. Fighting does not make you a hero. So a hero is not determined by their ability to fight. And it's so many times in superhero films, we have a lot of fighting going on. Lots and lots and lots of action. And we say they're heroic for that. And they beat the bad guy. Save the day. But Hippolyta comes and says, that does not make you a hero. Fighting doesn't make you a hero. Beating the so-called bad guy. You know, I remember this bad guy stuff started being said back in 2000, I believe, and 1, after the 9/11 event. I heard George Bush use it. He said, we're going to get the bad guys. And the sad part about this is, it ended up that there were trumped up charges against these so-called bad guys, Saddam Hussein in Iraq, which had nothing to do with 9/11. Trumped up charges about how there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and they're the bad guys. We're going to get the bad guys. Was this president heroic in preying upon people for a vendetta that had to do with Kuwait? Revenge? Exploitation and opportunism to get more oil? See, people, fighting doesn't make you a hero. You can never fight in your life and be a hero to so many different people. I'm playing this heroic music right now. Because a lot of times people feel heroic music is dun dun dun, get your blood going and your adrenaline pumping. No, there's a lot of heroes, like the old lady down the street who sees a boy going to be influenced by gang members and calls him aside and says, "Son, you look like you've been raised right. Rethink the situation about going to those gang members." And she takes him in, lets him have something to eat, gets him interested, and down a different pathway. That's a hero. And there ain't none of this music. There's no fanfare. The hero is the guy on the side of the road that smiles to a lady who is about to commit suicide in her mind. And that smile causes her to feel special, and she changes her mind. A hero can be a firefighter who's not on his job. He's off duty. And there's a car accident. And he jumps in. And he's able to free someone from the wreckage just in time, so that the car explodes after and they live. A hero can be somebody in your community. A youth, like every other youth out there, who decides to clean up the garbage on the side of the road every day. It's not flattering. It's not adrenaline pumping. But they do it and inspire some other youth to want to do something with themselves. A hero can be as simple as a janitor in a school seeing a kid who just comes out from detention, pulling him aside and saying one positive word to that kid that transforms his life. Yeah, fighting doesn't make you a hero. But caring does. And that's what Diana learned. She cared. She loved. And that made her a hero. I hear a lot of people talk about how Wonder Woman was a lighter tone to the other DCEU films like Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, Man of Steel. I don't really agree with that. And I heard Patty Jenkins say how the character was not as dark. Oh, it's not as dark as Batman. You know, but she's just as dark as Superman was, and the movie was a dark movie. But the difference was it was inspirational. This movie, in spite of all the darkness around it, was inspirational. And it had something to say that resonated with a lot of different people. I want to share one more thing with you guys. It comes from Rolling Stone. There's so much garbage out there right now. There's a lot of rumors and just a lot of garbage. And there's some garbage in this Rolling Stone article, but there's also some good stuff. Gal Gadot talks about becoming Wonder Woman. And I just want to get to her words and Patty Jenkins' words here for a minute. And Gal Gadot, she's touching this woman to see, I believe the woman's name is Alex Morris. She's pregnant. And she asks, she touches the pregnant woman's belly and she says, "Is it a girl? Is it a boy?" And she says it's a girl. But there are just a couple things I thought were pretty awesome. Most of this I've heard already about Gal's story. But part of her story is that she is the descendant of a survivor of World War II. Her grandfather, he had experienced World War II and he lost most of his family members. He had been traumatized by it. And Gal talks about why she inherently embraces love. Before I go into that, however, I just want to cover one thing. we talk about Justice League, and there's all these rumors circulating around it. And Gal pretty much confirms what I thought. When people talk about how Joss Whedon is remodeling Justice League and all this nonsense, she says, look, just to my understanding was Zack's choice to finish the movie. And the tone can't be completely different because the movie was already shot. Joss is just fine-tuning, which is what I think he's doing. And she just confirms what I thought he was doing all along. This is not going to, Joss Whedon's not going to get no credit for this movie to start with, okay? So she only confirmed that. But this is the part that I think is really cool. I'm trying to find it though. Okay. So she comes here and she says, trying to find it. It's kind of hard to find. It'll take a little while. But I wanted to speak about her grandfather, particularly her grandfather. Okay. So, Gal Gadot's father is a sixth-generation Israeli. Her mother escaped Europe just before the war. Her mother's father, who was just 13 when the Nazis came to his native Czechoslovakia, was not so lucky. His father died in the army. The rest of his army was sent to Auschwitz, where his mother and brother died in gas chambers. After the war, he made his way to Israel alone. His entire family was murdered. It's unthinkable, says Gadot. He affected me a lot. After all the horrors he'd seen, he was like this damaged bird, but he always was hopeful and positive and full of love. If I was raised in a place where these values were not so strong, things would be different. But it's very easy for me to relate to everything that Wonder Woman stands for. I think that is principally the thing I think that drives her. And that is because of her grandfather's experience, I believe he's been able to pass on some of these things to Gal. And I think what you're really seeing is an expression of that. And I wanted to highlight that out of everything else that she said. Because what I want to tell you guys is no matter what happens to you, even if it is that you know your life goes to the crapper, right? And it's the worst thing ever. You can still hold on to love. And that thing passes on from generation to generation. This is a man that was severely damaged by the war. Who knows what the heck he went through in terms of being tortured and all this kind of crazy stuff. But yet, at the end of the day, this guy was able to hold on to positivity, hope, and love. And a lot of people would be broken by these things and never hold on to those things ever again. And no matter how much you may go mad, all kinds of crazy things could happen. You could have cancer, you could be sick, you could be on the verge of death. If you hold on to these things, they will pass on to other people. These are priceless things, folks. This is what really makes heroes. Now, for me, I believe in Jesus Christ. And I knew Jesus, he went all the way to his death, holding on to these things and sharing them with people. Don't just hold on to them, share them. And the only way these things can be shown to be true and you can be seen as someone who's not normal is through showing these things in spite of. I was trying to explain to a subscriber of mine, love is seen when love is absent from everywhere else. And people do not understand the principle of this thing. I just gave you a principle of love in the scripture. And there's so many principles that govern love. And that's why I said love is a principle. It's more than just emotion and feelings. Emotion and feelings can be used to express it, but it's more than that. It's literally what makes the cosmos what they are. It's what put down the foundation and framework for you and me, our existence. No matter how you want to look at it. Whether you say your parents made love and because of that you came to be, it doesn't matter. However you want to look at it. Even if you want to look at it from a religious standpoint, I don't care. It's still the foundation under which you exist. No matter how you want to slice it or dice it. And That is why it's very important to come to awareness of this. Love is huge. And that's why when I listen to Gal speak, she's literally speaking. The character in the movie, Diana, is really Gal giving her opinion of love. And now we got the background for it. It was passed down to her from her grandfather. Because she tells his story, without saying history, his story, once again. Now, love and hope, they go hand in hand. Love, hope, and faith, they go hand in hand. And I wanted to share this with you guys to emphasize this scripture that I just read, the principle of love. I was born on Valentine's Day. I have to know about love. I must be acquainted with it because I was born. You look to the stars, according to Jorel. Look to the stars. Well, I look to the stars, and the stars align with me being what it is. So I'm one of the people who, my job in life, my purpose for being here is to let people know what love is. I must do this. This is my purpose. So you have to understand, if you hear me talking about love so much, it's because I was born for this particular purpose. Alright guys, I hope you guys have a great one. Thumbs up to your day. Don't forget to show love 24/7 if you can. Have a good one.